Gene, as you probably know, you have to like toggle some sound settings just so that we heard through our stream. I think that's what happened last time, right? Where we just couldn't hear your voice.
No, I think
So,
he was good. I think it was me.
okay.
Yeah, it was me.
All right, let
Yeah,
me,
Gene was good last time.
all right, let me see. Hopefully, it's the same here. So, actually, so Gene and Soul talk banter, so I can see, so I can hear you guys.
Hey Gene, long time no see. Hey man, just I don't know man, just things have been quiet here. Pretty much it. I don't know man, just Oh man, you know that's never gonna happen. I wish. Can you imagine if they
Yeah, I
had
can't hear Gene.
Oh really?
Yeah, can't hear Gene. So
Uh
he probably has to toggle some settings.
Also make sure that your controller is like off mute as well. Like just yeah, like the little button on the controller. If it's orange, just press it. Very true. Hmm. What else could it be? Um, hmm. Okay. Yeah, it
Yeah,
could
if you go
be.
into your voice, your party, into the party and the voice chat settings,
Yeah.
maybe there's something there. Like share your voice or something like that.
Yeah. Macho, I totally forgot how to play this game.
I know, that's why I need to replay it, man, because, like, I do not remember the controls at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I had share your voice not allowed.
There you go. That should probably work.
Gotcha.
See if that works, and then I'll listen back.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't get a director's cut of Gravity Rush 2. And God, I hope Blue Point's making Metal Gear Solid.
I heard that.
Okay, good,
Okay,
good, good.
great.
All right.
See if I can't get a Gravity Rush 2 director's cut.
Cool, cool, cool. Man, this guy Walt really really fell asleep through through the podcast, man. It's
This is
crazy.
wild, man.
This is
It's Walt. It's
yeah, man.
Walt. I
Yeah,
expect him to be up at like 7 a.m. sharp.
yeah,
This
man.
dude's.
This is
Jesus.
crazy. This is a fireable offense, honestly.
I think so. Yeah, that's why.
we're
Exactly why we brought Gene on.
we're gonna have a stern talking to him, man. Honestly.
Clean out your locker at the club, Walt. The dream is over.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Gather your belongings and kick rocks, man.
See ya.
Yep,
Boricua brother's been exiled
that's
from the
right.
family.
That's what happens, man. Um, okay.
Wild.
Let's get started. Um, Guys, welcome back to the 22nd episode of the DualShock and Sense Podcast. I am your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined as always by Macho. How you doing, man?
How's it going, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. We did it, baby. We went to the Olympics. We in there. We made it to the International Olympics. Tokyo stood up loud and proud. It was like, you want this music? You gonna get this music.
Yes,
Kingdom Hearts and
sir.
Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger. Let's go.
Yes, sir. We are down a panel member. He had a late night last night. Partying and drinking at the strip club. But I think
Yeah,
we
I heard he
got.
spent a lot of money.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
He
a he's
spent a
a
lot of money.
he's a big spender, man.
Yeah.
I can respect that. But we got we got a great person to join us. We got Gene from loresgaming.net. How you doing, man?
All right, thanks for having me, guys. I'm doing great. I got big shoes to fill with Walt, but I think I take up enough room for two people.
Hey man, we you'll do just fine, man. I think you're only our second sort of guest that we've had. So congratulations, man. That's a very big that's a very big honor right there. Um, so congratulations. Well,
All five of the people that watch consistently are just thrilled, absolutely
exactly,
thrilled.
exactly. So we got a great show planned for you guys today. Lots to talk about. But before we jump into the podcast proper, about the games that we've been playing this past week. Also, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and throw us a like, consider subscribing to the channel. We would greatly appreciate that. So yeah, let's get into these games that we've been playing. Macho, you wanna kick things off for us? What have you been playing this past week?
Man, so you're probably gonna get a little upset with me, Soul.
Oh no.
Because remember I was saying last week I was playing Demon Souls and I was kind of like enjoying that experience after playing Returnal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped Demon Souls.
What? Why?
I dropped Demon Souls.
Wait.
I had
Was it an area that made you drop it?
that Latria tower.
Oh man.
Dude, I can't. So let me get a little bit into this as far as why, because man, the thing is, like, I was enjoying it, but I have a general rule of thumb when it comes to RPGs, since they can be so egregiously long. If I get to the 7 or 10 hour mark, or in that time frame, and I'm just not having fun, I'll drop it. I'll just let it go, because there's other games I want to play. So
Yeah.
I got to that hour mark with Demon Souls, and Latria Tower was just pissing me off because of the layout, and I was just getting bored. And the thing is, Demon Souls never really like, I don't know, the gimmick. I call it gimmick, but it's really the mechanic of, like, whenever you die and then you lose like part of your life, and then all the enemies
Oh
come back
man.
stronger.
Yeah.
That alone, like, I hearing from the outside, I was like, I don't know if I really like that, but I just want to try it anyway. And so last year Tower kind of broke me when, like, the freaking, oh god, what are they called? The octopus faces. They have a
Oh
specific
yeah,
name.
the wardens. Yep, those are fun. Those are
Yeah.
fun.
No, they're not. No, they're not. So, like, I was going through and I was really just trying to give it its time, because I was like, all right. And then the combat was just a little bit too slow for me. So, like, overall, like, I got to that hour mark and I was like, all right, I can't do it anymore. Um, so instead, I fired up Dark Souls 3, and I'm having just a lot more fun
Oh
with that.
man. Oh man. Yeah, I
It's a good
mean,
time.
yeah, Tower Latria is definitely a tough area, specifically because of those wardens. I
Yes.
remember I
Hmm.
remember before the PS5 remake came out, I remember watching or just like hearing people talk about the game in general, and that name always came up to me, the wardens, and I'm like, okay, why are they why are they so infamous for being, like a thorn in people's asses? And yeah, it came to find out that, oh yeah, they are they're pretty awful. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
pretty
it,
funny.
it's yeah. It's just one of those things where, like, I was really trying to give it its due time. And the thing is I'm not, like, against hard games either, because I played and beat Sekiro.
Yeah.
I got the platinum in Velocity 2X.
Okay, we
I'm
we
not.
get it, we get it.
I'm flexing. No, I'm flexing right now. I'm flexing. Critical playthrough all day in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh man.
No, it's just again, it's that mechanic of losing half your life and the enemies come back stronger, and I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh my god.
Man, I liked
Um,
that, man. That added so much like stakes to like everything you did. It's almost similarly to Returnal, that like, okay, like I really need to be on my A game, or else, you know, I'm going to essentially be punished for making a mistake. And Demon Souls was kind of like that, in a similar sense. And I don't know, that made me more cautious and just approach everything more carefully. And I don't know, I kind of dug that, because yeah, like, you know, coming off of Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, I didn't necessarily have that attitude or approach to those games. And with Demon Souls, I don't know, I felt like it was a pretty interesting little wrinkle to the formula that I honestly kind of wish they would try again. But I know a lot of people a lot of people weren't really feeling that.
Yeah, there's a degree of patience that comes with it,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, for sure.
And it's just something like I already said before, like I lack patience sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
So jumping into Dark Souls 3 and just going in like I'm hitting boss after boss and just really just kind of enjoying that world once again. And even then, I actually jumped down with Walt the other day, and we just had a blast just co-oping these bosses,
This
just
was
going through the catacombs.
this was before the strip club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Relax. This was a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
We don't go crazy on Thursdays.
Okay,
Oh
gotcha.
my god.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah,
But
that's mostly what I've been playing. I kind of it's cool that actually that Jeans and the podcast sake says I think you have played Demon Souls, right? Or did you stay away from it?
Yeah, no, I played Demon Souls, but I'm confused, and I'm not the best Souls person. In fact, I might be the worst Souls person. You said that when you die in the game, it gets harder?
From what I read, that you lose part of your life, and then like enemies get a little tougher too. That's what I read on online.
okay, so let's see if I can remember this correctly, because it's been a while since I played it. So there's this thing called world tendency in Demon Souls that's not in any other Souls game. Essentially, what you have black world tendency and white world tendency. So essentially, in the once you start the game, you begin right in the middle, right, like in a neutral sort of state. The more you
Okay.
die, the more you kind of slide towards black world tendency, and what that means is that the essentially the world becomes harder. So yeah, enemies are a lot tougher to kill. I believe it's like or items are harder to find, or like harder to come by. There's a bunch of other things too, that I'm forgetting as well. But then if you know, if you're sliding more towards white world tendency, then enemies are a little bit easier. You'll be able to find like better pieces of equipment and whatnot. Also, in black world tendency, you're more subjugated to like invasions. So like other player characters will be able to like invade your world and kill you. Also,
Mm-hmm.
there's more of these enemies called phantoms, which are the sort of harder versions of these enemies, which are like these enemies who are like highlighted in red, and those are like really tough to kill. So those types of enemies will be more sort of like you know, more in abundance in black world tendency. So the only way that like, so like if you're in black world tendency, I think like one of the ways that you can get yourself back to white world tendency, I believe it's like by killing bosses. Like that's one of the main ways to kind of get yourself out of that hole. There's some other ways too that I'm forgetting, but that's sort of like the general idea of that mechanic.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Oh
then
wow, okay, all
yeah,
right, then
yeah.
yeah. So it's a lot more complex than what really people were saying. But like the general like umbrella was like things just get tougher. I didn't know about the multiplayer part of it though.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot more to it that I'm forgetting, but that's sort of the general idea. And then obviously, as you touched on, the whole like losing part of your health when you die, soul and body form. That's a whole thing as well. So yeah, there's definitely like, at least for me, in my opinion, there's a little bit more going on in Demon Souls versus, you know, some of the other games. But I also totally understand why they didn't want to like keep that around for like the other games, because it's definitely like a controversial game mechanic. Because like yeah, a lot of people definitely don't like it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just I'm not kind of on that realm too. But Gene, what were you gonna say?
I've been playing that game since launch off and on, and I'm about 35 hours in, and now you have me thinking I need to start over.
Oh man, that's a whole trek though. That's what I'm saying, because even going through Tower Latria, I felt like I was gonna be in there for 300 hours, just walking around like slowly and trying to make sure I'm keeping track of everything that's going on.
Man, just wait until you get to 5-2, the swamp of I forget its name, but like the swamp level in the fifth Archstone. That's yeah. Wait until you eventually get to that.
What, who, for Gene or me?
For both of you guys, if you guys haven't made it there.
Oh no, I'm dropping it. It's
Okay, all right, all right.
it's gonna be gone. I'm going straight into Dark Souls 3, and then yeah, once Walt comes back on, hopefully he's okay. We're supposed to play more co-op today at Dark Souls 3.
Hey man, let him recover, man. He needs some time after last night.
Just has some sausages and pancakes and hash browns, my man. You'll be good.
Man.
You'll recover from that hangover.
Oh man, but Macho man, I gotta say this is a blemish on your gaming record, man. This is a big blemish right here, man.
Man, once you beat all the extra boss of Kingdom Hearts on critical, you come back to me telling me everything.
All right, man, all right. But is that?
Yeah, generally, just again, also just diving back to Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake on the regular, just Final Fantasy Fridays and Witcher 3 Wednesdays. But yeah, that's about it.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna jump in here really quick, and because I've actually been playing a couple things. So where do I begin? Okay, so I've been playing this game really since last year, off and on. And the funny thing is that it's only like 3 hours, but like I find the gameplay like it hasn't hooked me. So I guess that's why I just haven't really felt the motivation to finish it. The game is called Grease or Gris. So, like something along those lines. I don't know if you guys have heard
Yeah,
of it.
that French atmosphere game.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
platformer.
Yeah, it came out in 2018, I believe. But yeah, it's essentially like a side-scrolling like puzzle platformer. It's like I know in recent podcasts I've said that Ratchet and Clank is probably like the most like beautiful game I've ever played, but honestly, Gris is like up there. It's like the art style is like incredible, man. I love like if this game was just like a visual novel, I would have finished it by now because it's an absolute joy just like looking at this game in motion. Um, so yeah, that I'm like 3 hours into it now. I think I could safely say that I'm like almost done with it because it's kind of like divided up into like these like color sections, and I believe I'm on the last color right now, so I should be wrapping that up definitely by next podcast. Um, and then Dreams. I got it last week. Um, and I'm about like 4 hours into it, so I'm definitely getting some time into it. Um, Man, this game. First of all, it's no. I don't have any slander for Dreams. Okay, Dreams is actually really cool, man. It's really cool. My one gripe with it is that there's and understandably so, right? Like there's so many tutorials, like almost too many. But again, understandably so because there's so much that you have to learn. But there's kind of like my like impatience that's kind of going like, okay, like I just want to get into it. Like I just want to start creating and building, but it's just like there's a tutorial like every 5 minutes that's really like not allowing you to go out there and create the things that you want to create, at least for right now. And again, I totally understand why, because this is essentially like Unreal or Unity, and just like there's so much that it needs to teach you. So I get it, but at the same time, like I kind of just want to start already. Um, I also,
But you can't just jump into like other creations right now.
yeah, you can do that. Like I played a bootleg Jack and Daxter, a Sly Cooper. I played a Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game that the melee combat was god awful. But it looked really good. The voice acting was definitely off, but I could definitely respect it.
There was
Um,
voice acting.
oh yeah, yeah. You could definitely tell it was recorded in like someone's bedroom, but um, what else did I play? No joke. I actually played like a pretty decent Sonic game. Like it actually controlled really good. The speed was really good. Honestly, this was like the best 3D Sonic game I've played in years. So, so Dreams definitely has that going for it. Um, so that was pretty fun. Um, yeah. So I actually do need to get back to it. Like in terms of like the dream surfing stuff, but majority of my time I spent actually trying to build stuff, and like I feel like I have a new profound respect for game developers, man, because I think I spent like an hour alone just trying to like make this character like pose in a position that I wanted it to pose in, and like I wanted to pose this character in like a fighting stance, and good lord, was it like the most difficult like undertaking I've ever had to go through, man. It was so difficult,
Jesus.
like moving each individual, like the forearm, the hand, the waist, the foot, the legs, like these things just don't turn in the direction that you want them to go in like 90% of the time. It's actually like really, really hard, man. So I eventually,
Jeez,
yeah,
man.
I
Wow.
eventually got him into the position I wanted him to be. But that's kind of where I'm at right
Pause.
now. I'm just kind of like messing around with like puppets and characters. Um, I made like one little sort of environment of like a castle like room, very very badly made, but I wanted to do a little environment as well. But yeah, it's definitely like really really impressive. Just like the amount of things that you have at your disposal is actually like quite overwhelming. But I definitely want to give it the time to actually invest and create something on my own eventually. Um, so
Damn, it
yeah,
makes you look at The Last of Us 2 with like, probably like, damn.
yeah. I just really just any game, honestly. I'm like, God, how is this possible, man? Um, so yeah, I'm thinking I want to do something in first person. I haven't decided what yet, but yeah, I'm excited, man. Um, so that's Dreams. Okay, and this last game that I've been playing, I think it's gonna be a surprise, and I think Mato, you're gonna like this, man.
Uh-oh.
And it's not Final Fantasy 14. It's not Kingdom Hearts. So get that out of your head right now, okay? So
That was
let's
the
let's
first
get
thing that came to my head.
let's get that clear. I've been playing. So obviously you guys know that PlayStation had like a summer sale, and there was like a ton of things on
Yep.
sale.
Oh, yeah.
I got BlazBlue Cross Team Battle for like $9. Um, whoa, what?
I got I gotta look that up.
Oh, wait, really? Okay,
I
it's
know what BlazBlue is, but Crossing Battle is. Remind me again, because I
uh
forgot.
I honestly don't know the other it's basically like a bunch of like franchises mixed into this. I don't know the other. I've never heard of the other franchises. It had Persona on the box art, so I got it. That's okay. That's why.
Oh,
I exposed myself,
oh,
okay?
okay.
That's
But
the only
Gene,
reason.
do you know about this? Because I know this is like one of those crossovers, like because you're a collector first,
I
so.
don't, I'm not familiar with the series. I never played anything in the series before, but I am aware of it.
Oh, okay. This is a great. This is so this is the game that has Ruby in it, right? The Ruby
Oh,
character.
okay, yeah, from from we're not gonna talk about that show, but yeah, Ruby is also in this for God knows why. Um, yeah, so
Oh, it looks cool. It looks fun.
yeah, it's I don't know what I'm doing because I don't play fighting games, but I'm having fun just messing around and playing as the Persona characters.
Oh wait, it's a tag battle. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, 2v2. Yeah, it's
All
and
right, yeah, that's awesome. I think you might have got like a low key winner there, probably.
yeah, it's definitely pretty fun. And again, its art system works, so that the art style is going to be on point. It's just
Always,
yeah,
always.
it just looks good. Yeah. Um, and yeah, that's pretty
Nice.
much it.
That was $9.
Yeah, it was something cheap like that. Like $8 or $9.
I might have to look that up then, because that actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, because it came out in like 2018, I think, so it's been a while.
Nice. Okay,
Um,
cool. You don't play fighting games, so like, how's that been? Like, because the thing is, you jumped into a fighting game that Arc System Works are always, besides Dragon Ball Z, there's always like an extra layer of like complexity,
yeah, I'm definitely
especially with Blaze Blue.
I've definitely haven't gotten that complexity yet. I'm just kind of like fumbling my way through it, but yeah, it's definitely fun, man. It looks cool, so it makes you feel like you're a badass, even though I know I'm not doing anything right. But hey, I haven't lost a match yet, so so we in this, man. We in this. Um,
I know you're not playing online because the online's probably hot garbage.
hey man, we're not gonna get into that. Um, but yeah. So Blast Blue, definitely enjoying it. That's pretty much it for me, man. Blast Blue, Dreams, and Grease. So Gene, why don't you tell the people what you've been playing?
Well, now you got me having to check out two games between revisiting Dreams. I played Dreams when it first came out last year, and this BlazBlue game I'll have to check out.
Hell yeah,
Um, Unfortunately, I haven't been playing much on PlayStation. I'm trying to wrap up Yakuza Like a Dragon so that I've got all the Yakuza games out of my system by the time Judgment launches
nice.
no, 2 months from now, and then been playing a lot of stuff for the website. I played Terra Nil. I did a preview of that. Bear and Breakfast, and I just finished Death's Door, and my review for Death's Door is up on the site. That is, I don't know if it's a timed Xbox exclusive. I get the vibe that it is a timed Xbox exclusive. It might be 6 months, it might be a year, but Death's Door is a very good indie game. It's like Moonlighter without the shop building. It's a very visually pretty, a very visually impressive hack and slash kind of. It's not a roguelike, but it's top down. It's cool. It's fun. You play this crow, and you're like the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper's gone, and he's been replaced by these crows. And you go and you find the Grim Reaper. It's cool. They're very funny. Terra Nil is like a reverse city building game. Like the whole entire planet's been destroyed, and you have to rebuild an ecosystem. That's it's like it's like a building game, like almost like The Sims or something like that. Or no, I can't think of what Coaster Works or something. Very cool, very fun. Bear and Breakfast is a shop game as well. Those games would be great on a portable like a Switch or like a Steam Deck. And then
Yeah, I remember that game actually. I remember the trailer for it. Just like the visual appeal of it was, it looked like a really chill game.
yeah, all three of those games are very chill, uh, fun, just fun little indie games that short 10, 20 hour 10 hour games, maybe 10, 12 hour games. And then I got the games like Returnal and Demon Souls that I come back to in between breaks of working on stuff because I gotta get those out of the system, along with Yakuza Like a Dragon. But it's gonna be a busy August, a busy last week of July. There's a ton of just like swimming in sevens, swimming in 7.5s coming out over the next few weeks. A lot of stuff. Unfortunately, it's mostly Xbox, but very busy. Very busy next 4 weeks. I mean, we got Kenna coming up pretty soon
Yeah,
with the
excited for
Ghost of
that.
Tsushima thing, and yeah, that's it.
And then is Death Stranding also in August, or is that September?
That's September. That's
Okay.
September, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
September like 10th or 14th, something like that. But you can kind of, it's gonna be like before Kina and I think Lost Judgment too, right? Gene, it comes out the 21st or the 23rd.
Yeah, Lost Judgment. And Lost Judgment's another one. It's like I was gonna buy that no matter what. I didn't need to see it. When it first showed up in the state of play, like you hear two new games from Sega, and I'm like, oh great. I don't need to see Lost Judgment. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know nothing. I want to be completely surprised going in. And then the trailer they showed for that game during the state of play was just like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The quick
Yeah.
flashes of the mini games And knowing they're going to add in some of the stuff they added into Yakuza Like a Dragon, it just brought a whole new level of hype for me, and wanting to play that game in September.
Can we talk?
Yeah, I'm still real quick. I just on the minigun. I'm
Yeah.
still in love with the fact that in Judgment 1 they had like a fully playable House of the Dead. Like to me that was just like yes, yes. It's
um,
amazing. Gotta keep the game just for that.
can we talk about like the efficiency of RGG? Like how on earth? Like in my opinion, like no one else is really doing this. Like how on earth do they get these games out at such a like rapid fire rate, man? Like it's pretty crazy.
If you play other games, you know exactly what they're doing. It's that I'm trying to think of when it really all started. I think it really all started with Yakuza Zero.
Yeah.
That was almost for the ground up. It was a PS3, PS4 game, but almost from the ground up with the PS4 in mind. But it was bringing a lot of the stuff over from the PS3 and the PS2 that they had done forever. They reused the same city, the same shops, and with every game, they just put more and more detail into the shops and the cities. And then after Zero was Six, which was just them reusing a lot of the stuff they did in Zero and adding to it and building on it. And then from there came, which was really Six was really the mainline PS4 game. Then became remakes of one and two,
Yeah.
back to back. You already have the story fleshed out. You already have the characters fleshed out. They added a very small amount, and they took the worlds from Six and Zero and put that into one and two, giving you four games in like 4 years. And then they did the remake collection, which is they're just ports essentially that are cleaned up a little bit. And alongside of that came Judgment, is the reused city from Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1 with a whole different set of characters, a whole different tone, and that's something that you can pull out in a year or two on the back end of why you're doing remasters and ports. And then came Like a Dragon, which is like a big massive change. So that's how they're able to do these things so quickly and turn them around. And Lost Judgment is just going to be an expansion of the first Judgment game with a lot of the stuff that's in Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's the same game that they just keep building on and building on and building on, but they change just the right amount of stuff so that it feels like a completely different game. And I think it really helps to go to a turn-based RPG, then go back to an action game, then go to you're on the mafia side, then go back to you're on the lawyer side, and making those changes hides the fact that it's really the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great you point that out because yeah, it definitely like you're getting that palate cleanser, but you're getting it within the same series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're kind of setting themselves up kind of like how Final Fantasy did, where you have your action games and then you have your turn-based games that are coming out and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
and
that's genius for them.
they're like triple dipping. These games were on the PS2, they were on the
Yeah.
PS3, they were re-released in the PSN for PS4 and PlayStation Now and whatever replayability Sony did have with the PS2 titles that were on PS3. Then they come
Oh
out in
yeah, with Dead
collections and
Souls and stuff
remasters.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. Then they come out in
Hmm.
collections and remasters on the PS4. Then it's all going to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. So they're like triple dipping of all this stuff, and it's allowed them to be a part of the conversations for years. I mean, an entire console generation plus, maybe two entire console generations, they're allowed to be a part of the conversation. And now they're on this other ecosystem and platform being a part of that conversation. So they've very efficiently, by doing very little, have become this big franchise.
You love to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're
See
definitely.
it.
great games. They're fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like yeah, like I totally get like the city aspect too, but like these are also like what like 40 to like sometimes like 80-hour games. Like Zero alone I think took me like 60 hours to beat, but like you take into account like all the new quests, side quests that they're doing, the main story as well, the mini games that they add and whatnot. Like like these are like like total packages that are coming out almost like on a yearly basis, man. It's just it's crazy to me. Um, but yeah,
But
man.
if you look at games like Yakuza Kiwami 1, which is the remake of 1, and Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a remake of 2. Kiwami just means extreme in Japanese. Those are like 10 to 15-hour games. I think they're like about 15-hour games each. Some of the games in the remaster collection are 12 hours long each. And you said Yakuza 0 is 16 hours or 60 hours, but you can do that in 24 hours without a problem at all. And a lot of the mini games, like Macho said, they're just taking an old House of the Dead file that they have sitting around and putting it in the game, or Outrun or Space Harrier, and it's stuff that they did in Shenmue that was really cool. Back in the Dreamcast era, when they have like an old file sitting around, they pop that in. It's a mini game, and there's other mini games too, like the batting cages are fun, and the RC car driving, and yeah, there is a ton of content, and it's so interesting, and the side stories are just so much fun. Like, if you just want to just breeze through a story, you can ignore it. But if you do get into the side stories in Yakuza, it's like a lot of like, what the hell?
It's obviously like the best part of the games.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, I didn't dive too much into the side stories of Judgment because I was really invested just in the main story of it. But yeah, I knocked it out like in 20 to 30 hours. I would say less
Yeah.
than 30.
Mhm.
So they're all doable, like within a nice digestible like appetite. But if you want to engage in them for longer time periods of time, it's there and it's enjoyable. It's
Did you
cool, man.
see?
I love it. I love that it can battle both extremes like that.
Yeah, did you guys see the tweet? I think it was yesterday from the localization director of the Yakuza
Yeah,
games and Judgment.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He tweeted out.
They're making strides with that localization stuff, man.
Yeah, he tweeted out the game's going to be very dark and have some tones and some things that are going to upset people. It sounds like it's going to hit a dark place with the detective stuff, and I'm just like, this sounds like Yakuza Batman, and I am in.
That's awesome. I love
That's
that
yeah,
description.
that's a pretty cool mix, honestly. Um, yeah, man. So does that conclude the games that you've been playing?
Yeah, unfortunately, just a lot of indie games on other platforms, and trying to clean up my collection before the big fall season hits us. I mean, next week, really, it hits us pretty hard.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah, man. Hopefully, Death's Door does make it to PlayStation, but I'm not holding my breath with,
Hmm.
PlayStation's any situation. So, um, but we won't get into that. So,
Come on,
But you know what
Shuhei,
though,
let's get there,
they
Shuhei.
they have a great relationship with Devolver, and
yeah, that's true.
almost for a long time, the Fall Guys people were not saying a word, and what I see is no one's saying a word about Death's Door. No one's adamantly coming out on the Devolver side, on the Acid Nerve, they're the developers of Death's Door, on the Xbox side, and saying this is exclusive. It's not going to be anywhere else.
Yeah,
And maybe a year, but
yeah,
I think it's going to leave eventually.
yeah. I agree. Usually, I feel like usually those like high profile indie games, um, usually do. Um,
Look at Hades.
yeah, for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all
That's
right.
finally coming. I might have to get a physical copy of that one.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. So that wraps up the games that we've been playing. Let's jump into these topics, man. First, let's talk about Aloy and Genshin Impact, man. PlayStation made the announcement earlier this week, and Gene, I really wanted to get your opinion on this because me and Macho and Walt were talking about this on a recent podcast that like man, PlayStation is really positioning Aloy as like, sort of like their front and center like tentpole character that sort of like represent like when you think of PlayStation, you think of like Aloy, right? It's like you see like all these different crossovers that she's in, whether it be Death Stranding or Fortnite, Monster Hunter, and then we were also talking about like Horizon really being the first PlayStation Studios title to make that jump over the PC. Like Horizon and Aloy herself, she really positioning her.
You know, they have a tough time finding an identity really since the PS1 era of the Crash Bandicoot and Final Fantasy VII and Gran Turismo. They've really struggled of having that identity, and Japanese companies love mascots. Everybody's got a mascot. Every town's got a mascot. Every major company's got a mascot. You know, the logos and mascots are incredibly important to Japanese culture, and I think that as Sony's, and I think their struggle with having that identity and that mascot and that face of the franchise is kind of centered around the fact of how the company struggled with globalization and spreading out. You know, you have part of the team in Europe, you have part of the team in Japan, and you have really their headquarters is in the United States. Their chief executives are in Europe, and it's a Japanese company. And so that's being reflective on their inability to build that identity. And but it's cool to see them trying, because what they're shooting for is they want to know why The Last of Us, Spider-Man, and Ghost of Tsushima and Gran Turismo sell 10 million copies, but then Red Dead Redemption sells 17, and Cyberpunk sells 17 million copies. You know, that's what they want to figure out. And like, they have 100 million PS4s out there. Why are their most successful games only hitting 10% of the base? Why can't they hit 40% of that base? Why can't they hit 20% of that base? And if you look, and it's something like Spider-Man sold 20 million copies, that would be astronomical, and it really should be. You're telling me 20% of your base is not going to be playing your most popular game, your most popular franchise, and that's something they're working on very hard, and that's the whole reason why they're bringing their games to PC, because they want to drive those audiences over.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's sort of like the big, like, sort of like whenever, you know, fanboys want to make like you know, kind of like dumb, you know, sort of like chides at PlayStation when they're always like, oh well, it only sold like this many to like your user base, but then it's like you take into account something like Call of Duty, like, okay, like it sells what, like maybe 30 million copies a year, but that's on like how many platforms, right? Like you have the 100 million user base of PlayStation plus Xbox plus PC, and it's like, okay, it only does 30 million, you know, taking into account all of those consoles. So like, even with something as huge as that, like it's still like, okay, why isn't everybody, you know, buying these games? Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough, it's kind of like a tough thing. Especially because like, and it's gotten better, right? Because like, God, you remember like the PS3 era, or God, even going back to like the PS2, I remember games like Sly Cooper. It was a big deal when these games hit even just like 1 million, right? It would be a rarity for them to even hit like 2 million copies, unless you were like, you know, like a Gran Turismo or like a GTA or something like that. But like the fact that these games are hitting, you know, 10 million a plus sometimes now, I think is like, it definitely goes to show that the industry has come a long way. But obviously they could still sell a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of room there for them to reach people.
Yeah. And as you said, that's definitely what, you know, them going to PC is hopefully going to do, right?
Yeah, you're going to have a few people. I don't understand why anyone in their right mind would spend $50, $40, whatever it is, for Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC when it's $10 on PS4. I don't think the visual upgrades are worth that much money. And if you really wanted to play Horizon Zero Dawn, I think you would have spent $200 on a PS4 Slim in the past couple of years and played the amazing collection of games that are now in the library, including Spider-Man, Uncharted, you know, Gravity Rush. This amazing collection of games that are exclusive to the platform. I don't know what kind of market is there on PS5 or sorry on PC that they're going to bring over to play Horizon Zero Dawn. But if there's 50, I'm sure there's a couple hundred people that played that game for the first time and were like, "Wow, this is really good," because it's an amazing game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I even just replayed it on PC, and it's like, it was a great like kind of revisit, and even playing through the Frozen Wilds. But man, I just wish they would update it on PS5. That's the only thing.
Why don't you tell Gene how, you know, how you had Aloy running around in your recent playthrough?
Uh-oh.
This man must act like I installed a nude bot.
Hey man, it was pretty damn close, man.
No, it wasn't. Man, let girls live, man. No, I got her some new hair, right? I got her in a nice little platinum blonde, like a little Daenerys Targaryen, little black hair, and then I put her in some some summer shorts and a tank top. That's it. It was her casual attire, her summer attire. Nothing wrong with it.
Interesting.
I wasn't judging.
Interesting.
I wasn't judging. It looked cool. It blended with the world. Like I said, I gave her a little backstory. She found it in a little cavern, and then she was like, "This looks nice and cute. I'm gonna wear it."
Oh,
so she wore it for like 60 hours of the game.
You see him trying to justify it in his own like head canon. This is crazy, man. He made up a lore and everything.
I think it's. I thought it was crazy that people were going out of their way to play this game when it's been so available on the PS4 for so many years, and then I realized there's someone out there playing the game with like the glass armor from Oblivion on Aloy, chasing around Thomas the Tank Engine.
That's true.
Shooting zombies with all the mods in this game,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's don't worry about it. Didn't you just buy an anime game?
Hey man, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. But Macho, what's your take on this? Aloy joining Genshin.
What a left field announcement. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Like of all like the crossover characters I was expecting in Genshin Impact, whether it be from I don't know, like a new Chinese developer or something with their new character, or something on Sony's lines, because obviously Shuei Yoshida loves Genshin Impact.
I was about to say that
there's
definitely a close relationship between MiHoYo and PlayStation, because I'm pretty sure that like
absolutely.
Yeah, that their PS5 launch in China was like it was like side by side, like marketed alongside Genshin as well. That was sort of like the big like marquee launch title over there, I think.
It was, yeah. I mean, to everybody's point too, it's the fact that I had no idea Genshin Impact was going to be as big as it was when I first started following it. So the fact that it had kind of this trail to even have a PlayStation mascot as a featured character, it's like mind blowing to me. I was the other end of the bit. I was thinking, man, they could have did Kratos, and then I see Kratos in that art style, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah, hell no, never.
Kratos in that anime art style, just it probably wouldn't go. Him being in Fortnite doing the flaws is enough.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it anymore.
But no, it's crazy. It made me re-download the game. And the thing that's actually really crazy about this too is that I wasn't planning on playing the game on PlayStation, because I played on PC first and there was no cross progression, cross save. But that update literally just came out like a couple of weeks ago, where you can go between your PS4 or PS5 and your PC and your mobile character progression or profile progression between all the systems. So I gotta figure out how to do that so that I can transfer my characters and stuff like that, so I can actually snag Aloy, because you need to be like a adventure rank 20, which is not hard to get to, but still it's like you're gonna have to put at least 5 to 10 hours into the game before you can do that.
Yeah.
So but it's cool, man. It's super cool. I'm excited to see her like in live action gameplay and like kind of see how that goes, everything. And
yeah, for sure. So I saw the PS5 Sony god PO on Twitter saying that this definitely seems like marketing for like in preparation for Forbidden West. Do you guys kind of view it that way, or is this just kind of like something cool that really isn't in direct correlation to Forbidden West's like a possible 2021 release for that game?
Well, a couple immediate thoughts about that. So right where my brain went to was the leaked deals in the Fortnite lawsuit involving Kratos being in Fortnite and what those emails look like. And a lot of it is just kind of like cross-pollination, right?
Yeah.
You give us money, we give you exclusivity, and then like let's find weird, cool ways to scratch each other's backs so that the marketing makes sense, like with this cross advertising. Excuse me. We'll put Kratos in the game to line up with your new trailer launch, and that will make the deal look better, or that will give us more reasons why to tie this money to these relationships. And Sony does have a great relationship with the Genshin Impact people, and there is some sort of minor marketing deal there or something like that. And I'm sure these were parts of the agreements years ago. And I think that they really wanted to be talking about Horizon with Forbidden West right now. But I'm getting ready to drop Horizon Forbidden West from my fantasy critic team because I'm losing hope that it's coming out this year.
Man, I'm holding on to hope, man. I haven't given up yet. I haven't given up yet.
Well, think about it, right? Let's just use just everything we know, right? We know a game really needs to go gold within like 45 days of the release date, right?
Oh yeah.
So let's pretend that the absolute latest they would release it is December, like the first week of December. So they would need to go gold sometime around the last week of October. So they need to know that they're coming up on the finish line. And the fact that, and I think that they announced these release dates 90 days out at a minimum for marketing beats, for retail, for printing the packages.
Yeah.
And that would put us to December to November, November to October, October to September. We don't have a release date for this game in the next couple of weeks. I mean, honestly, I think there's going to be a PlayStation vlog coming out in the next week or two announcing the delay.
Yeah.
But I think they have to date this game, I think, in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Or else they're missing the boat for the end of the year. And I don't think they're very interested in launching this game the last week of December. Or sorry, the first week of December.
Yeah, definitely. God, I aside from Gravity Rush 2 and The Last Guardian, which we know how those games did, I don't think they ever really released games during that time frame. But hey, man, look, I never said it was a smart hope, man. This is just foolish optimism.
Yeah.
But yeah, the signs definitely aren't looking good. But I don't know, still crossing my fingers that it can make it. But obviously, if they need the extra time, like, I'm totally not going to be mad about that. But
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like what the next couple of weeks play out with that. That's why I still think that we're getting an August state of play.
man,
Just to give us another update on some of these like last and fall games. That are gonna
Gene,
be
can
coming to PlayStation.
you comment on this? Because I was trying to, like, Macho believes that there's 100% like a state of play coming out soon. Like, Macho, do you think it's like a big state of play, or what's your line of thinking?
I'm thinking that it's gonna be on first party stuff. Yeah, first
Okay.
party or like some other partnerships, and including Horizon Forbidden West being like a new trailer and a release date.
Okay, because
That's gonna be set in August.
my line of thinking in why I believe there isn't going to be a big, sort of like showcase, or like they're right, everyone's waiting for like their E3 show and whatnot, and why I don't think that's going to happen is because I think this last state of play gave us the sort of a look at the rest of what this year is going to look like with Death Stranding. We know the Ghost of Tsushima thing is coming out soon. Deathloop looks like sort of pegged as the big fall release for PlayStation. Obviously we already know things like Kena is going to be there.
One thing that added to your argument, though, I will say, is the fact that Ghostwire Tokyo just went up and got delayed.
Yeah.
Which is my other game in there.
Obviously they showed Lost Judgment in that state of play, so I feel like that last state of play in July was sort of giving us the look of what the rest of 2021 would look like. And then, so like in terms of first party, like I feel like it's just too early to see like anything else from like the big major teams. What we do know from first party, right, we just kind of saw with Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding, but I guess my big sort of line of thinking is that like they could easily regulate Horizon and God of War to their own separate dedicated state of plays, like they did with Demon's Souls and Last of Us and Ghosts. Destruction All Stars, and Ratchet. They could easily just like, okay, August is our big Horizon state of play. That's like just 15 minutes to that game, giving you release date, giving you more story details, that sort of thing, and then a God of War 1 happening in like, I don't know, like October or something like that. But I personally don't think that there's going to be a big state of play happening this year, not until probably 2022. But do you think there's going to be a big one happening this year, Gene?
So the last, I write the monthly blog about PlayStation for lordsofgaming.net, and the last one that I wrote was, did Sony seriously just hold their summer news event over Twitter? And and that's the kind of the vibe that I got, was like that's all that we were going to get. But then, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm torn. It feels like some of the uncertainty around whether or not Sony is going to have a state of play is tied to the release date of Horizon Zero Dawn and the bad news over at Activision and what's going on with Call of Duty. This is the latest we've ever seen on a new Call of Duty title, and probably ever, right? So they're obviously having some issues with Call of Duty outside of the issues that are recently coming up, and I'm positive that Sony's tied to that, and Sony wants to be tied to that, and that would be a part of any major event that they're going to hold. Then you have there has to be a marketing beat for the new content coming to Grand Theft Auto 5. And with the new content coming to Grand Theft Auto 5, I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak in a surprise Red Dead Redemption kind of thing too with there, right? So I'm trying to piece together what would be there. If they're going to do something, they need content. You would have a release date for for Horizon Forbidden West. You would have your first teaser trailer for God of War. Then we have these rumors of the Gran Turismo beta in the PlayStation Experience app that came out a week or two ago. I think it was last week. So they have enough for a show if they wanted to. Maybe one or two more surprises. We know that there's some sort of The Last of Us collection or The Last of Us director's cut.
Oh
Yeah, or
God.
factions too. Or factions
There
too.
are
Like
the,
that's another big topic.
the multiplayer component, The Last of Us 1 PS5 remake, the Last of Us PS5, The Last of Us 2 PS5 port. We know there's a number of things that they're working on that those games are eventually going to be announced because it's already leaked that they're in development. So it's just a matter of time of when Sony's going to do this, and it feels like there's something coming. I would lean towards the end of the year than August, but it depends on. I think it depends on where they are with Call of Duty and where they are with Horizon Forbidden West. Even if Horizon Forbidden West is coming out in February or March of next year, we would still need a September October state of play to kind of cement that. And I think that there probably would be a state of play around the time, somewhere in between Kenna and uh, Deathloop. And it's so crowded with mid-tier games from this week all the way through November that there's so much noise. I think Sony's kind of got to do something. I think Kenna needs another marketing beat if that's really going to be a game that they're going to market. So
Yeah, I agree.
there is potential for the first week of August. You have a state of play. You have the drama around Abandon that doesn't seem to go away. The Abandon app is coming next week on Friday, the 29th, and which is would align with when you would want to start marketing Kenna again. So maybe there's something the first week of August or the last week of July in terms of Abandon, Kenna, and anything else that's coming out from them. I think even if Horizon Forbidden West is coming out in February or March, you could still date that in the next month and would want to.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like evidence that would point to either or happening. Um, I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like
I
that
mean,
there isn't.
he made a good point with the Call of Duty though, because
Yeah,
that's the other thing I was thinking of too, where that's like a huge like marketing pull from PlayStation that they kept for like the past decade.
yeah,
But with everything with Activision going on, and eventually talk about that, it's just We'll see. We'll see because we all know these things are planned, and then they could literally change within the next day.
Yeah, so I went from being torn as to whether or not there was going to be one this summer. Sorry. I'm torn that if there is going to be one this summer. I was positive there wasn't going to be. Now I think you need to do something with Abandon and Kina, the last week of July, first week of August, and with Call of Duty. And, if Horizon is going to come out or not, you have to do it then and there, in the last week of July, first week of August. Mm-hmm. But then I'm also torn on having something even bigger in September or October to get you through into March. They gave us something in the beginning of the summer to get us through into the fall. Then you have something in the early fall to kind of get you through the spring.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, I feel like a lot of, like, specifically like Final Fantasy 16, that's a marquee title that's, sort of marketed alongside PlayStation, and we know that we're not more than likely not going to get a look at that game in 2021. So, like, I feel like that's one of those games that, like, would really help fill out a show, and if it's not going to be there, then, like, I don't know, that's also, like, one of my other reasons that I just don't think that, like, they really have, like, enough enough meat to really fill out a show. But because, like, the whole Last of Us, like, director's cut, if there is one, like, I feel like it's the same thing of, like, how I feel with, like, the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. Like, why wouldn't you like, save that for a state of play or whatever? They kind of just like tweeted that one out. So, like, I feel like for the Last of Us director's cut, they would probably just tweet that one out as well. But yeah, I don't know, like I said earlier, like, I could definitely see a case being made for either or.
But when's Outbreak Day?
September 26th.
There you go.
I think the 26th.
Yeah. They would get their own day. They would have their own kind of event just for the collection of Last of Us stuff that's coming.
Yep.
And you just hope to God that they're not selling you 3 games at $70 each or $40 each, and they find a way to, like, put this together in a package that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Who knows, man. Anyway, let's talk about and I wish Walt was here to talk about Dead Space, but Gene, how familiar are you with the Dead Space franchise?
Love Dead Space 1 and 2. Those were great horror games. I miss the days of gaming like that when EA was making games like that. So it's glad to see them back. I don't think there's enough being done in the AAA horror space. I think with the PS5 and HDR and the feedback on the controller and the 3D audio, I think it's revolutionary for horror games. We saw that in Resident Evil 8. I would like 2 AAA horror games per year. One I would deal with, but it seems like we're getting one every other year.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that they I think it's Konami that go to lengths with Fatal Frame, right? Is it Konami?
Fatal Frame. Who has Fatal Frame?
I can't remember the exact, like, publisher that's behind that, but it's either Konami or something along those lines. But man, they're already re-releasing Fatal Frame. I think the one on the Wii U on the Switch now.
Yep. Yeah, which just got a terrible, horrible rating. It's a port of a Wii U game. It is. That tells you what shape Japan is right now with COVID and getting games finished. That is a port of a Wii U game that Nintendo's going to parade around as a victory for them.
Yeah, I know. I want them to kind of, like, reboot that franchise, because that's, like, again, going into the PS5 features, like, that would just be so cool on top of, like, anything other horror related. But Dead Space Remake, man, that's gonna be a winner.
Yeah, talk to me, man. How are you feeling about it?
I mean, personally, I'm ecstatic about it. I really wish we got, like, a little bit of gameplay in that teaser trailer when EA was announcing it at the end of their EA Play, I think it was. But it's super exciting to know that this is going to be a next-gen only title. And it's being built from the ground up, which I'm sure, so you're seeing that, you're like, damn, they're putting in the work. They're building it from the ground up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But it's interesting because it's not like the fresh retake that we were talking about before, where some of us were speculating, and one of my predictions was that in order to kind of like reboot it, they would have to do first person like how Resident Evil would do.
Yeah.
But if this is just a remake of the first one, then we're just getting top to bottom a new fresh coat of paint with the original game, which I'm excited for. I think that's the best choice, to be honest.
Yeah. Um,
I'm really excited to see those limbs cut off and everything. It's gonna be interesting.
Hey man, people are saying that this is scarier than Resident Evil, so I might have to take a pass on this one, man. So, so,
Let's see.
so,
Dude, no, this is one of those things where just, man, put on your diapers, like put on your big boy pants. You're gonna have to play some Dead Space, man. I'm telling you, this is like iconic. You saw Broken Games Twitter, right, where he's saying to his wife that if you get to put babies on hold for a little bit, so the Dead
yeah,
Space remake comes out.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it's that good. It's really really good. And again, I wish Walt was here. I don't know where this dude is. I want you to talk about it because he literally just played it, and it's like one of those games where like the atmosphere is just second to none.
Yeah,
It's incredible what they
Yeah,
done with it.
that I love that being alone and space vibe. The lighting, I think these consoles are going to open a lot of doors for them of what they can do with the lighting and the HDR and space and kind of hiding things. But Dead Space, I hope they do make some of the changes they're talking about. They're saying it's not actually it's a remake of the first one, but it's like a reimagining where they're going to do different things because the game has a lot of just jump scares.
yeah, uh,
Yeah, it's what was talking about before is like it has like that instant like the instant fear of just dread and like what's around the corner. But
Hmm.
yeah, the jump scares are absolutely kind of like they're there. But yeah, if they really take advantage of what they want to do with this one, then man, we're in for one hell of a ride.
What they do an amazing job with in Dead Space is where you are positive there's a jump scare. You're like, okay, I'm going to go around this corner. There's going to be a monster there. There's going to be a stupid jump scare. And you go and you're like, okay, there's not. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. All right. And then
Yeah.
15 minutes later, there's a jump scare someplace else.
I was reading some article and they were saying the developers how like certain design sort of decisions had to be made because of the hardware that they were working with at the time. So like, they couldn't do specific things because of the power that they had to work with. So now, that they are working exclusively on newer gen, they are taking a look at the things that they couldn't do back then and are, thinking to themselves, okay, now we can actually do these things. And I think that's sort of alluding to what Gene was saying about this being more of a reimagining that like, yeah, this won't be like one to one like, the Demon Souls remake, but yeah, they definitely go into this expecting things to probably look a little bit differently than the original game, I guess. Which I mean, hey, that definitely sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. After seeing the success of Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you can take an original idea and kind of expand on that,
Yeah.
and even make it better, it's there, especially for Dead Space. What interested like me the most about it, it's not the fact that um, that it was just gonna be just a remake, but they're actually gonna make some like story changes to it too, and
Yeah.
make the story better.
That's
I
interesting.
don't. Yeah, I don't know what they exactly mean by that, considering the story is actually pretty good, but I guess it have more cinematic elements to it, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the game heavily relies on jump scares, and it is going to feel like a dated game. There's a lot of mechanics and gameplay loops that are dated when the game came out, and it's going to feel dated. So they said they were going to take things from other Dead Space games, and they're going to. I have a feeling they're going to try to make some of the gameplay loops not feel dated, and I think they're going to just try to make the game not lean so much on just having jump scares.
Yeah, good. I'm down for that. I'm super down for that. If it's coming off Resident Evil 8 Village, yeah, I'm more on the horror genre right now because I would love to see more of that. That's why I want Fatal
Yeah.
Frame to come back because that was just like talk. If you want to talk about like everlasting dread and just not even what's around the corner, just like what's around you at any given moment. Fatal Frame is like up there. It's
Mhm.
nuts.
How do you guys feel about this whole thing about like EA shuddering Visceral, and then them coming out and saying that, oh, like single player games, or linear sort of single player games, like they don't work anymore, or blah blah blah, and then coming around, a couple years later, reviving the game that said studio worked on that they closed, and then are kind of backtracking, like, oh, no, these games are cool now. Like, do you guys have like a problem with that, or is that just me?
I mean, not personally. It's just I don't know. And I like if I was a developer and I was like, yeah, I'll be kind of pissed
Oh, definitely.
because because at
I
that
lost
point
my
you're just
job
like
over that.
really
Like, what?
no, seriously, yeah. It's just like what the hell? But like, what kind of parallel dimension are we in where like EA is having a rock solid 2021
Yeah.
and other companies are just doing horrible? Like EA was just at that point where we were just like, screw EA, worst company of the year, and now they're coming out with some bangers and even announced a long-awaited
Hey
like
man,
project
I'm
that's gonna
still,
come
I'm
to
still,
life.
I'm still
Crazy.
saying. Actually, no. Actually, you're right, man. Mass Effect came out this year, so. Oh man,
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
right. Oh man, what
And
the
they're coming
hell's
out with
going
another
on?
Mass Effect.
What the hell's
Uh-huh.
going
It's
on?
exactly what kind of parallel dimension are we in? What's going
Oh
on?
man, this is weird. I haven't bought an EA game in years, and then Mass Effect came around. Oh man, that's
And now
crazy.
you're looking forward to the next one.
I'm
You're
looking
even
for.
disappointed that EA Play wasn't even having a Mass
I'm
Effect.
I'm
What the
looking forward to an EA game. That's the wild part. That's the wild part. I
Just
never
not
imagined.
FIFA or anything like that.
Yeah, I never imagined that would happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, Skate's gonna reboot it too. They're having a good year.
Yeah, man, crazy.
I would have
Um,
saw it coming.
and then last point. Obviously you guys saw the teaser trailer and we're happy with like how it was looking visually. But does the fact that this is going to be in Frostbite concern you guys? Because like obviously we saw what this did to Dragon Age and more specifically Mass Effect, and how like that engine was just like not suited for like those types of games. I would imagine this would be a little bit better because this is like a linear game versus an open world style game. But like, do you guys have any concerns with like, obviously we saw how those characters were looking in Mass Effect Andromeda, thanks to Frostbite. So like, is there any concern for you guys with this being in the Frostbite engine versus something like an Unreal engine?
Go for it, G.
No, I'm not concerned about that at all because the game is so dated. It really doesn't matter, as long as they're familiar with the tools, and it should be totally fine.
And
Yeah,
you,
it's I think it's just more just kind of like they got more practice with the engine or whatever the case may be. And the best thing about the Dead Space is that you don't really see Isaac like as far as like his face or anything like that, as far
yeah,
as I remember. So I think you're kind of in the clear when it comes to that. You just have to make the suit look amazing, the guns look awesome, and then the best part, actually, one of the things that they have to nail is the designs of the enemies and just make them look as best they can be. And off, then I think they'll be fine. And
gotcha,
just make sure
gotcha.
that it's actually polished.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
the thing.
The most important thing.
Yeah,
Um,
you do not want to play a horror game when like that's gonna break all immersion with like enemies just flying through the air like rag dolls and or something like that. Like you see like in Hitman, whenever you kill somebody, they'll just fling to the side.
hey man, no Hitman slander, man.
Oh
Not.
no, no, not slandered at all. It's hilarious, but like you do not want to see that in a horror game
Yeah,
whatsoever.
for sure, for sure. But it is pretty funny though.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
that
love it.
that one time on the podcast when I blew up that guy with the exploding golf ball and his body like ragdolled off the balcony.
I still
Yeah,
go back to it every time and again. I
yeah.
love seeing like him just like just flying off.
me
It's
me
too
s-
funny.
stopping the podcast for you guys to look at this.
It was too funny.
um
Worth it every time.
All right, guys. There's no easy transition to for this next topic, but it has to be done. So obviously we all are aware of the Activision Blizzard controversy that happened this week. Um, I'm gonna add a little bit of context for people who don't know exactly what is happening or just generally needs a little bit more information or more context. So buckle up because this is this is a wild one. So
Yeah.
we found out earlier this week that Activision Blizzard is being sued by the state of California. So essentially, the DFEH found evidence that Blizzard discriminated against female employees in terms and conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, termination, constructive discharge, and retaliation. The DFEH also found evidence male employees sexually harassed female employees, and Blizzard failed in taking all reasonable steps to prevent this from happening. So this has been happening for years, and they've essentially have done nothing to correct this. They're also being accused of paying females significantly less money than male employees who are doing similar work to the female employees. And then I guess I'll preface this by saying that things are gonna things are gonna get a lot worse. So definitely, I guess trigger warning. The filing
Yeah,
also.
yes, especially to everybody. Just real quick, to everybody listening to this, and if you have any sensitivities to really kind of traumatic incidents in your life, please step away because it gets pretty deep.
Yeah, so the filing describes horrific acts of sexual harassment where the company's quote unquote frat boy culture within the studio essentially had women subjugated to like a number of pretty like disgusting things. It's like one of the main things that was described was this thing called cube crawls, which was where male employees drank copious amounts of alcohol as they crawled their way through various cubicles in the office, and they would often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Male employees would proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work, while delegating their responsibilities to female employees. They would engage in banter about sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and they would even joke about rape. The frat boy culture was essentially a breeding ground for harassment, discrimination against women. They were subjugated to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male co-workers and supervisors. During these cube crawls, they were groped, and they were also groped at many other company events. There have been many former Blizzard employees who have come out and said that during BlizzCon events, one of the executives would like drunkenly, kind of come on to them and grope them and whatnot. And it got so bad to a point that, I think it was like security or people actually had to pull this guy off of some of these female employees. Like that's how bad, it would get. And then obviously I think the sort of, thing that a lot of people are sort of like taking notice of is that one employee specifically took a trip with another male employee, and that she ended up actually like committing suicide during this trip for essentially she had nude pictures of herself being passed around during company parties and whatnot. So obviously this goes deeper. There's so much more to sift through of this just disgusting behavior within Activision Blizzard. There's pages and pages and pages detailing just sort of the work culture that's been deeply rooted within this company for years. So obviously this broke and really shook the industry. I'm seeing like obviously we know Ubisoft is definitely been in headlines for this. There's the Techland, the devs behind Dying Light. They've also had several allegations pointed to them. I've also seen this week a previous or former Insomniac dev coming out and talking about her experience at the company. So like just taking into everything that I just went through about Activision Blizzard, what is everyone's sort of like gut reaction to just hearing about all of this coming to light?
I'll start it off. It costs you nothing to be kind,
Yeah.
but it costs you everything to be a dick
Yeah.
and an asshole in your workplace. Um, I don't understand. I really don't. Like this is like genuinely, I just don't understand this kind of behavior in any kind of workforce. Um, like I get joking around in some sense, but like there's like a really hard limit, and for me, like like some of these companies make it very clear where that line is drawn, and
Yeah.
in no way, shape, or form, no matter how close you are to your coworker, even you guys are out of the office, right? That just to me, that's like a no. That's a hard no. As far as what you can discuss and everything like that, and so for to see this come out and to like even have more like another kind of spotlight, just like as far as like we still have a lot of work to do, and nothing has really changed, is really disheartening. um
Yeah.
but so words are meaningless without action, and I hope we really do see some kind of repercussions that come from this. But at the end of the day, man, it sucks, and it's really hard to hear this kind of stuff, especially about the suicide story.
Yeah. And
That's nothing to scoff at.
it's like it's incredibly frustrating because like we like this has been public for at least this kind of behavior has been public for a long time. Like it hasn't it's not like it's just been like, like hidden or anything like that. There's been this clip that's been circulating recently of a BlizzCon panel with like many of like the major like, heads of the studio and whatnot. I think J. Allen Beck was among this panel as well, and this woman came up to ask a question about like the female characters in I think WoW or something, and
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
yeah, and they everyone on the panel is essentially like laughing at her question and were kind of writing it off and being really dismissive towards her, and then essentially she gets like booed off the stage, and she just like had to like awkwardly laugh and like sort of like apprehensively like agree with them or whatever. That sort of laugh that you make when like you're just kind of like you don't know what to do. You're just kind of like like she like literally did that, and she was booed
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
stage, and it's just like god damn, dude. Like seeing that clip, man, it's just like I'm just like so fucking angry, man. um Gene, what like get in here, man. Like what how are you feeling about all of this?
This is terrible for everyone. Gamers lose, game industry loses, Activision, the people who work there, the good people who work there. They weren't in great shape prior to this coming out and happening. We already talked about Call of Duty being in trouble. Is there going to be a Call of Duty this year? If they just shove something out there that's half finished, is it going to be terrible? There was issues with some sort of World of Warcraft release. I'm not that familiar with it. They've been subsidizing their sorry, not basically they've been restructuring their teams, and they're focusing on less games. A lot of people are upset because they went from working on Destiny or Spyro to working on Call of Duty,
Yeah,
and they're
toys
pretty
for
much
Bob,
just
right?
yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
now just a Call of Duty and a Warcraft studio and a Diablo studio. And you have some people up north here of us, a few hours over at Vicarious Vision, and they're working on the Diablo 2 remake, which should be cool and interesting. But they were doing the Tony Hawk games, and you thought that they would do more of that. Um, so then we're going to get the Diablo 2. Then what do they do after that? And Activision used to release a couple games a year, and now they just put out just constant crap, and Overwatch is in trouble. So this is going to make things worse for all of those games, all of those franchises. There's going to be an industry-wide ban on coverage. And with Call of Duty, the statements that Bobby Kotick put out, they were insufficient. Then there was
Yeah.
another female spokesperson with the company to put out a statement that was incredibly insufficient.
Yeah.
And it's 5 paragraphs long, so we don't have to get into it. But I think that this is going to have an incredibly negative impact on Diablo 2 and its release. I think there are going to be people who don't buy the game, which is there's good people there who are going to suffer. And I don't think any of this is really tied to Vicarious Visions, and now they might get the impact of that. And will they ever make another game again? And will they continue to restructure and become more focused and centralized and start letting people go after the damage happens here? But I'm really worried about the future of all their franchises. I wish they had more franchises, and this is going to hurt them. Ubisoft had to restructure and refocus and retool a lot of their games, and because they had to let a lot of people go in leadership positions, and rightfully so. And we haven't heard the last of this, and this is going to be a story for the next year or two.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point about widespread coverage and how that's going to work, like we're seeing a lot of big sites just refusing to cover Activision Blizzard. And I think while on the surface that may seem like a small thing, I think if like this does become like an industry norm and widespread, and everyone sorts of like does this together, I think that could be a really big deal. Macho, you were I saw you commenting on this on Twitter as well, right?
Yeah, it's I was trying to kind of really get a grand scope of these things, because it's really hard to come out with guns blazing and firing at the hip when you don't have all the facts. You got to be careful with some of these things. So when more information was released, and at this point, I'm just seeing a lot of people in the media or just in general tweeting out, kind of like their faux support, when they just get off their one tweet and then they go on their merry way. And that infuriates me, because those words are meaningless without, like, I get it, you're giving some support, but I feel like there should be some action behind it, and not just specifically like your average Joe consumer gamer. I mean, like, people that actually can make a difference and make an influence. And we're starting to see that now, where Prima Games is actually not going to go forward with any for the future scene with any coverage on Activision, Blizzard, and I think it was Ubisoft. And now we're starting to see some other outlets actually do the same, even some smaller sites.
Yeah.
I think one person to actually give a lot of credit to, and let me actually pull up her name, because she just posted up a video the other day that I saw her YouTube channel, and she was actually talking about how when she worked with Activision Blizzard, like as it's like marketing or social media aspect on it, and like kind of her situation. And she just posted up, I think, like yesterday, kind of detailing her experiences and stuff like that. And a couple of you guys may know her. She's a senior editor, I want to say, at Game Informer, Liana Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
She, watching that video puts everything into the perspective that you need it to be. And I think it's incredibly brave of her to come forward in that video. And she was sick at the same time. She was like really sick, and then she had to make this video because of just the whole situation that was going on. And someone like her makes me really believe that there could be some form of change here, just because of like she's actually coming out and like really like hitting the nail on the head of like, what are we doing? Why can't we move forward? This needs to stop. And we're starting to see that kind of trickle in. I really hope IGN puts its foot down and really starts to go into this.
They I feel like they have to be the one.
Yeah, they did with the Palestine situation. This with Activision Blizzard, it's hitting a little more closer to home. I feel like it's only right that they can go forward, and it's a very hard line to draw too as well. Because I can see some people. I understand what some people's ways of like doing coverage of stopping coverage on games is not going to move the needle. It's just going to hurt the devs, and I completely understand that. Which is why this is like a constantly evolving and discussion. There's no hard line to draw. Some will draw those hard lines, but at the end of the day, it's it's hard, but I feel like in order to needle to actually move and to make some sort of difference, I feel like IGN should be the one to really come up because whether people like it or not, they are the top dog of this video game social media and online coverage. That's just it's a fact. They dominate SEO, so
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Like this, I feel like change. Like yeah, that definitely maybe could move the needle, but obviously
Yeah,
the biggest thing for these companies to actually take notice is you got to hurt them in the wallet. And the unfortunate thing is that there just isn't like like enough of like like the hardcore gaming community to actually move that needle. I feel like because it's the casuals don't know this is happening, so I honestly don't know how unless there's like because this isn't just an issue at like Activision Blizzard, right, and Ubisoft. Like this is happening like everywhere in like
yeah,
AAA
yeah,
companies, both big and small. This is essentially like the norm in the industry. And like I guess another thing that I was thinking about was that you have many of these women coming forward and talking about their experiences at various other companies, and some of them are even saying that this burned them out to such a degree that they just dropped out of the gaming industry altogether. That it made them essentially like their dream was to work in this industry, and once they got in, they realized, oh, this isn't for me. I don't want to do this anymore. And like something I'm thinking about is like, man, like what if like this prevents like some kid that's going through college, and then they hear about this stuff happening, they hear about the reality, like the dark reality of the industry, and then they kind of like course correct, and they no longer pursue that career path anymore. And now I'm kind of thinking like, okay, what if that was like the next Kojima, or that was the next Shannon Studstill, or the next Siobhan Reddy, or the next Bonnie Ross or Jade Raymond or whatever, right? So like that also hurts our
yeah.
industry as well, right? That we're like that potential talent that is coming up through the pipeline is now like no longer going to be there. So like that's another thing that I just started thinking about, and it's like, man, like that's also like really really shitty.
I'm glad you actually said that because the past month has been starting my new job. The past month has kind of been a little bit of inner turmoil when it comes to actually being in the game industry for me, even being part of the media. Um, I never mentioned this because it was always just something that I was always battling with, and seeing this is like it really like drives it home that a lot of this stress, that a lot of like kind of the stuff that goes with all this stuff is it seems like it's just not worth it. I'd rather just be like a consumer and just a person that's passionate about the games that I love, rather than just someone that wants to just kind of work in the industry, which
Yeah,
was always like a high point for me. Like that was a driving motivation for a while. And seeing this kind of stuff is like where the attitudes are not changing and things are progressing very slowly and too slowly. And it's yeah,
that's
it's kind of it's definitely having some sort of effect for sure.
that's a good point, because that's I saw this tweet from someone basically essentially just asking like female game dev Twitter just like a point blank question like why would like with everything that goes on behind the scenes, like what is keeping you in the gaming industry? Because from what she was saying, from her standpoint, like it's just not worth it. Like why would you stay in the games industry, like knowing that this is happening in other studios, in your studios, and to people of color and women, marginalized people, et cetera, like what is keeping you within this industry? And a lot of people were sharing that same sentiment, and others were essentially saying that like to bring about that change, they want to make it better for the people who come after them. And it's just so sad that like that's sort of like the reality, or that's the line of thinking that like women and marginalized people have to have when coming into this, right? That they can't just have like that it's not like they can wake up every day and be excited to go into work. That they have to come into, they have to wake up, come into work, and think about like, basically like suffer through these through their job, and think about, okay, how can I make this better for like the people who are coming into the studio 5 years after me and whatnot. Like, I don't know. It's just so messed up, man.
Yeah, I can't even, dude. I can't even like get into. I can't even imagine what woman, what a woman perspective is on all of this.
Yeah.
You know, I like even just going into the industry and even being belittled with your question about sexualizing women characters at a World of Warcraft panel.
A simple question, dude. A simple warranted
Yeah,
question.
it's not even like it's not even a far out question. It's not like she's
She
asking stop making big tits and big ass characters.
she
She was like,
wasn't she
when
wasn't
can we
saying
get?
she wasn't saying that the game was bad or anything like that either.
Yeah, it was just more just like when can we get something that's actually appropriate, you
Yeah.
know? Which is not it's not a I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. It boggles my mind.
Something that I can't stop thinking about is that I'm a 34-year-old man. I've been working in corporate industry my entire life in cubicles and enterprise stuff since I was 17 years old, right? And as a 34-year-old man, I just can't. And I'm trying to put myself in these situations like mentally, like what would I do? Like what would it be like? And I can just imagine like being in a cubicle as an adult male myself and watching a bunch of 20-year-old kids do a pub crawl in the office.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm just annoyed just thinking of any adults working in this place.
Yep.
Any?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah. I
you
mean,
would
I
go ahead.
go no go for it, go for it.
No, just really quick, because like, yeah, you would imagine that like someone, man, like someone would just stand up and be like, "Yo, like, what are you guys doing?" Right? And like, I know it probably gets tricky because these are like like the top, like not the heads, but like these are like people in like positions of power within the studios. So like maybe that makes it tough for just employee number one and employee number two to just actually stand up to it. But like, man, yeah, like you said, Gene, it's just frustrating to think about.
Am I too? Mash was talking about working in video games. Am I too old? I'm 34 years old. Am I too old to go work in video games? It sounds like a bunch of kids.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, that's sort of the big thing that was said in the lawsuit. This frat boy culture, and yeah,
Yeah.
it just seems like these studios are filled with people who are stuck in their twenties. Like their brains are just stuck in their twenties. And they're trying to like relive their their college days and whatnot. And it's just like, grow the fuck up, man.
Yeah, seriously, seriously. You can get like inklings of this too, listening to David Jaffe's streams, where he has talked about workplace culture and kind of like what was like back in like the late '90s or early 2000s when he was
Yeah,
making games for PlayStation.
yeah,
Yeah, you catch bits of it when he's just talking about how like there's definitely jokes of like hitting strip clubs or even having strip parties at studios.
yeah.
Where it's like, are you like what? That boggles my mind, dude. Are you kidding me? If that ever like, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Like, where's the professionalism at?
Yeah, definitely.
So like, I
But
can't imagine
I
what it
feel
was
like
like
back
being a woman's
then,
position.
like I definitely see that being the case back then, like the 90s, early
Oh
2000s, where
yeah,
like gaming was
yeah,
still kind of like it felt like it very much had that vibe of like 20-year-olds, kind of like teams of like 20 people working on Dells, very like like roughly put together studios and whatnot. Like I feel like that's definitely the vibe that the gaming industry was back then. But now, in 2021, we're like, yeah, we these studios are very much like melting pots where all different kinds of people are working there. They're bigger teams, and like just kind of within the context of our world today and where we're at, like, yeah, I feel like that behavior should absolutely be in the fucking trash.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we honestly like can change this, or like what we can do to make this better, but like it's very obvious that like there has to be pressure on these companies to change and on individual leadership, to change. There has to be like organized action. Otherwise, I don't see how, this can change, to be honest.
And a big part of that is Activision just got a very huge fire lit under their ass. They're in a lot of trouble. There's going to be big changes there. And unfortunately, there's going to be big changes there while they're trying to ship a bunch of games and make a bunch of games. And it's going to be a very difficult year or two for them, and a lot of changes are going to happen. But then what about the next company? Like, okay, obviously Activision didn't learn from Ubisoft and what they went through
Yeah.
and the other companies. So there has to be a message sent that's so hard to Activision here that everybody else wakes up. Okay, we fixed Ubisoft. I'm sure Activision's going to fix itself here. I'm positive of it. Because they're going to lose a lot of money in this lawsuit. Um, they're now open to litigation from any employee who's ever been employed there for the past 10 years,
God, I hope.
and
Yeah.
that's going to be a significant compensation handed out to those people. Even in settlements alone, never mind, we have a suicide here that if things come out where they were mistreated at work and the company didn't do anything, if there's documents to show that these incidents were reported, they could be liable for a woman's death in here, and that could be tens of millions of dollars in litigation costs. And that's incredibly unfortunate, and I'm sure that the death is a lot more important than the money, I would hope,
Yeah.
to them.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
But it
That
doesn't seem
that's
to be
like
the case.
that's huge. Are you kidding me? Like an employee committing suicide because of the workplace culture?
And I guarantee you one of two things happened. Everybody kind of turned a blind eye and said, this really must have been something going on outside of work. There's no way that there was bad things going on here. Or people were raising red flags, reporting it, and it's documented in emails and writing. And Activision is now in a tremendous amount of trouble. But it's just a footnote in this entire lawsuit that's
Yeah.
29 pages. It's just a single footnote. It's
Yeah.
one sentence in the whole thing. So I have to imagine that it's really not tied to it too much. And but if it does, they do discovery and reports are found. I mean, there's going to be a bloodbath. Bobby Kotick might lose his job. He might get kicked off the.
Good.
Um, yeah, no, and good. That would be very good for gaming, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, he could open up a new studio with the amount of money he made, and he should have. He should have expanded. Every other AAA publisher is expanding while there's inflation, and while there's while there's a great opportunity to spend money here, and interest rates are down, and he's just taking it and putting it in the bank and not allowing the company to grow. But that aside, right, there has to be a message that's sent to the next company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's this ultimately this does, right? Because like we really don't see like this like a state suing a game company, right? Like this
Yeah.
is extremely rare. So I do hope that yeah, this can be sort of a wake up call to all these other
Mm-hmm.
companies. Obviously it didn't work for Ubisoft, right? Because like there's still accusations going on. They're still obviously doing the things that they're doing. Assassin's Creed, Infinity. The people who are leading the charge on that project are people who have countless accusations, against themselves. So Ubisoft clearly has not understood that message. I don't know how, like, what we can do for them to actually listen. But hopefully that's not it's not going to be a repeat Ubisoft situation with Activision, and some actual like tangible change comes about this, man, because it's just like long overdue, man. It's so long overdue.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not obvious how hard this is going to hit Activision, if you're not dumping Activision stock, you're an idiot. Like if you own Activision stock, you should be dumping it because it's going to take a big hit. This is going to be part of the Activision news cycle for at least the next 2 years. You need to be dumping the stock, honestly, because like you're crazy to keep it at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, man. I guess that's pretty much. I think we pretty much exhausted that topic. Um, yeah, I
There's gonna
mean,
be more to come, so
yeah, man. Definitely. I definitely expect this is going to be an evolving sort of situation, and we definitely have not heard the last of it. But Macho, like as you said at the top of this conversation, man, like it literally, like I feel like, and I'm totally in agreement with you that it takes more effort to be like an asshole rather than just treating other people with respect and kindness, right? Like it almost takes no effort to just be nice to people, man. Like I don't understand why that's such a foreign concept to humans in general, man. Like I don't understand
Yeah.
why that's such a hard concept for people to grasp apparently.
Mm.
But yeah, man, I don't know, man. The game industry just makes me like so fucking like ashamed, man. Like I have two sisters, and like if they were ever interested to get into the industry, I would tell them to get the like not to touch it with a 10-foot pole, honestly. Like yeah, like I don't know, man. Do you guys have any closing thoughts before we move on?
Um, Women, stay strong. Stay strong. I mean, that's and seek help when you can. Really, or just go to your loved ones. Really, that's it makes all the difference being surrounded by people that love you and support you.
And to that
Yeah.
point, that we actually didn't touch on this, but like men who are within these studios, man, like I say we, but y'all got to do a better job of like being allies to these women within these studios, because like they many instances they turn to HR and HR does nothing for them. So like that they feel alone in those instances, and like the men within these studios, you guys got to do a better job of like, you know, calling out this bullshit when it happens. When you see these things happening, you can't just like laugh it off and you know, just be act dismissively towards them. Like you got to call this shit out when it happens and like stand behind these women, because like I can't imagine how incredibly shitty that must feel, to like essentially have no support behind you and feel absolutely alone in whenever these things happen to you, right? Like yeah, it's got to be so
Yeah,
shitty.
yeah. Actually, Liana actually touched on that in her video where there's this one guy that seemed like an ally and was like, "Oh my gosh, like what this is happening? That's so crazy of this person." And then when push came to shove, his reaction and being an ally to these women that were being harassed was, "I don't want to rock the boat,"
Yeah, yeah,
which is incredibly shitty. So that's exactly to your point. I just wanted to throw that in there before jumped something else.
yeah. Gene, you have any last closing thoughts before we move on?
No, that was it.
Okay, cool, cool. Um, so hey, you know what? Look at Walt in the chat. He was up
I
all
was just
night at
about to
the
open my phone.
yeah, he was at the strip club last night. This is crazy, man. Um, So, Macho, I'm gonna delegate this topic to you, man. Because you were definitely the one. You got your jimmies in a twist with this topic right here. With
My jimmies were fine and in iron, sir. They weren't in no twist.
with the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
Yes,
They
sir.
yeah, they're playing some music, man. Why don't you tell the people what happened?
Yeah, dude. Literally, Japan literally just whipped it out. Once they, you want music,
Oh
this is
yeah?
music.
Pause.
So yeah, they whooped it out. They whooped it out. I was really proud of them. Um, 'Cause I'd never seen the Olympics ever. This is the one time I actually was watching it.
This is what it took to get you to watch.
This is what it took, man. Exactly. It's so to keep people up to speed in case you've just been not on Twitter or on social media in general.
Living under a
When it came to
rock.
the Olympics, if you live under a rock, exactly, live under that Patrick Star rock in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, some of the opening songs that were in the Tokyo Olympics this past week were actually was actually video game music, and none other from Square Enix for a good part of them, and some from Monster Hunter. Others was from the Tales of series. But most notably and most importantly, Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy was featured in the Olympics, folks. This is quite literally one of the best things in the world. This is amazing.
Wait,
I
I
was
bet you
so ecstatic.
I bet you some of these athletes when the Kingdom Hearts music came on, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Just see if they would have had like Simple and Clean being playing like you don't wanna go
Oh,
away.
man.
Like as they're walking out, that would have been hilarious. But no, they actually chose the appropriate music. They actually put in the Olympus Coliseum theme song from Hercules, which is super appropriate, really. It's one of those things where like you kind of like, yeah, this could definitely play like in this setting and people wouldn't bat an eye because it makes sense. And that's exactly what happened. Nobody batted an eye. Didn't even realize it was Kingdom Hearts music unless you know it's from the games.
Yeah.
But just to kind of go over like what they actually played there, it was Kingdom Hearts Olympus Coliseum, Chrono Trigger's Frog theme, which is actually hilarious. Chrono Trigger's Robo theme was Final Fantasy's Victory Fanfare and the actual main theme. Like again, Tokyo, Japan literally just like whipped it out. Was like video game music is real music, and besides like all the joking and the banter on it, it's for me, for someone that's grew up with this series, and for people that always scoffed at video game music and treat it like it was nothing, this is your slap in the face to be like, nah, you're wrong. And I couldn't be any more prouder to for these franchises to be a part of something so internationally known. To be kind of featured, I think it was very exciting for them, and it's cool. It's cool, man. And my jimmies were ironed out and laid out for Square Enix. I'm so proud of you guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like for them, like can you imagine that, like on essentially like the world's biggest stage, to have something as culturally like significant as music from Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest, etc., to be playing on that stage. It has to be a pretty big moment for them too. Like that's honestly like really, really cool.
Yeah. So Gene, what are your thoughts on this? Did you see the clips of all the athletes waving their flags to the victory fanfare in Final Fantasy?
I did. Which Final Fantasy game?
It's the victory fanfare itself. So just like the da 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 da. Yeah. So there's a couple of those, and then the actual main theme that played throughout. It was. Did you see any of it by any chance, or?
No, I didn't see any of that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now, though. It sounds interesting. I'm really excited for the men's basketball. I'm gonna watch the men's basketball when I wake up tomorrow at 8.
What kind of things do they play there? Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's just like from like a gamer perspective, it's like damn, like, that we're still speaking to like as far as the cultural impact of it all. It's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, it's definitely significant.
Gene, this is kind of going off on a tangent, but Gene, did you see that video of Team USA singing Kevin Durant "Happy Birthday" when it wasn't his birthday?
No. No.
Okay. So there's this video of like it's not just the basketball team. It's like all of Team USA. So like the soccer team, swimming team, weightlifting team, like everybody, all in sort of like this giant tunnel before they actually walked out to wave the flag and whatnot. And they just. Everybody just singing happy birthday to Kevin Durant, and it's just him like looking so angry because his birthday is not for like another 2 months, and he's just kind of like looking around. He's just like looking around like this big like scowl on his face. It's the funniest thing, dude.
I was literally going to ask if it was one of those things where like his birthday was like a couple days before or after, just to kind of like make up,
No.
He said once.
Nope, his birthday's not until like 2 months from now.
Oh my god,
it's hilarious.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty funny.
It's the best. It's just
awesome.
Like I've been watching like a bunch of videos, and it's literally just him like being trolled this entire trip to Japan. It's really, really great.
Were they teasing him? Were like a couple guys pranking him by telling everyone it was his birthday?
Oh, clearly, yeah. They definitely had to have gotten like everybody on Team USA aboard for that. Yeah, because it just seems like everyone's just kind of like trolling him on this entire trip. Because like there was some video of him like talking like he had the phone. Oh, I don't know if it was like a live stream he was doing, but he was just like holding the phone up to his face and like talking. And then one of the WNBA basketball players like it just like randomly just like kissed him on the cheek, and then he just like looked to his side and just like the same like scowl on his face. He's just like, what the fuck? So it definitely seems like everyone's just like messing with him throughout this entire trip. It's pretty hilarious.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Um yeah, so definitely if you have time, you gotta
I have to watch that.
without a doubt. Um so I guess the last thing we can talk about is PS5 apparently breaking 10 million units sold. Um So I mean, this has to be like, I wish I had looked up how much or how long it took the PS4 to actually reach this milestone, but and I could be wrong. But this feels like the quickest PlayStation has managed to do this, right? Because we do know that the PS5 is outselling or outpacing the PS4 up to this point. So I think we could safely assume that this is probably the quickest that PlayStation has managed to reach the 10 million mark. Regardless,
Probably.
this is a pretty big milestone for them.
Yeah, I remember. I remember the fanboy wars, like who gets the 10 million first. That was quite that was quite something to see on the timeline. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's again full steam ahead. Where like PlayStation's having this awesome momentum out the gate, and it's just a matter of keeping that momentum with what they got. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out, especially with their competition doing just as well. Really, not in terms of unit sales, but in terms of just social mind share and how far that can go with them. Because at the same time, uh, the um, the news of Xbox winning what NPD for the month of June, something like that in the USA.
Mhm.
So interesting to see where that can lead to. But as far as the PlayStation success, yeah, it's full steam ahead. We'll see
That
how far it
was
can
that
go.
was in dollar sales, not units. So like Nintendo still,
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like had the best month in terms of like units sold. So
Gotcha. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I know. A certain group of people were really excited about that, but but
Yeah, I thought sales didn't matter. I thought
yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
matter.
But hey man, we won't get into that, man. Um,
No, absolutely not.
um, so before we get out of here, man, we're almost into August. Well past the halfway mark of the year. And since we have Gene here, I want to ask the panel, um, 2021, man, what is sort of your game of the year up to this point? What has been the game that, you look back on and I guess sort of like represents the year for you that you've had the most fun, or you just look at objectively as like, oh yeah, this is my game of the year. That's just sort of like risen above everything else.
I should go first, my show.
This is actually something I was thinking about a couple of days ago. Where there's a ton of great games that so far I've been playing this year, not just specifically that released in this year, but
Oh, I bet I know which one yours. I know what yours is. It's the one
really.
it's the one with the thick vampire lady.
No, no, actually, it's not. But look who joins into the
Oh man, almost
party.
almost like what, 2 hours late? Oh man.
Look at this man.
Hey man,
Oh
hey man, you gotta
Lord.
you gotta you gotta go to these like we need to have an intervention right now, man, because there it's been a growing it's been a problem for a little bit now, but honestly, we have Gene here with us, because we need to tell you, man, that you need to take these or start going to these strip clubs in moderation, man. You can't be hitting the strip clubs
Exactly.
every week,
Exactly.
man. You're wasting your money. Coming home
Don't go
at
to ATMs. Don't go ATMs,
yeah,
man.
coming home at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, man.
It's not
It's
cool.
just not healthy, man. It's not healthy.
What
Yeah.
happened?
They took
What
all
happened
my
to
money.
what happened to bros before hoes, man? What
Yeah,
happened to
so
that?
so you know, as your friends, man, you know, we've gathered here today, you know, just to, you know, to lend you a shoulder to cry on, you know, lend you an ear. We're here for you, man. We hate seeing you like this, okay?
And at the same time, give you that boot and take your kneecaps because G's replacing you in the podcast.
That's right. That's
Oh
right, man.
my god.
What you got to say to
I
yourself,
got-
Walt?
Hi guys, my name is Walter, and I go to strip clubs a lot.
Oh,
I was at a very notorious one, and they took all my money, and I couldn't get a ride home, so I had to walk.
Barefoot? Did you have to
yeah.
walk barefoot?
Yes, they took my shoes.
Oh man! They said, and he was walking on the street, and they were like, "Give me them shoes, man."
Yeah, they were size 12, but they were like, I don't care, I need 2 boats. I'm like, okay.
Oh, he's just glowing now. He's a size 12. Come on, man. You packing some socks into those shoes, those size 12s.
Oh man.
Come on, bro.
But
Double up on your socks.
whoa, we just about to end the podcast talking about our game of the years for 2021. Macho was just about to tell us that it was Resident Evil Village, right?
No. See,
Yeah,
as I say,
that's
there's a couple of great games that came out, especially like Returnal is like one of those games that come to mind. But as far as the game that like really surprised me and like I see like perfect in my mind and at this point always will, it takes two.
Ooh.
It Takes Two from Joseph Ferris, the infamous Joseph Ferris with the "fuck the Oscars, fuck you" with that just incredible meme. He created and his team created just like one of the best games of 2021, hands down. It's one of my favorites in terms of platforming and video game Easter eggs and storytelling and just like that game will just take you to a trip of emotions, man. Like you'll feel all sorts of things, even disgusted or horrified with yourself. And me and my fiance absolutely felt it. Like this game is just incredible, and I can't speak more about It Takes Two. It's gonna take a lot for a game to really make me think it's better than It Takes Two as far as in this year. But Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, Resident Evil Village, yeah, they're up there. But man, It Takes Two is like on a whole nother level that's they're gonna stick out in my mind for sure. And I think a part of that is because I did play co-op with my fiance. Which is not a first, you know. I played games with my fiance before. We played like River City Girls, we played Kingdom Hearts together, and a couple other stuff. But like It Takes, even The Walking Dead, which is like to us like one of our favorite games after that, and It Takes Two is like it's on a whole nother level. If you guys haven't played it, I can't recommend it enough. If you need a partner, let me know. I'll be more than willing to join. It's so much fun.
Cool. Gene, what about you? Anything coming to mind?
Resident Evil Village and Ratchet and Clank is a close second.
Okay.
The atmosphere and the detail in Resident Evil Village is just off the walls.
Yeah, I gotta get to it, man. I gotta get to it. If I ever finish RE2, man, that'll be nice.
Yeah,
on my
man, you
list.
gotta get to Dami Mommy. Get to Lady Dimitrescu,
Yeah,
man.
man, she's calling my name, man. I'll be there soon.
Mommy.
I'll be there soon. So for me, man, like, yeah, man, it's been a great year, honestly. If I could choose Mass Effect 3, it would be Mass Effect 3. But honestly, and I had to think about this a lot because like Returnal is like, for the longest time I would have said Returnal. But I think I'm honestly gonna go with a game that came out in January, and that's Hitman 3.
Oh.
Yeah, I have like 120 hours in that game,
Wow.
and it was my first Hitman game ever, and I absolutely adored it. Just it really made me fall in love with stealth again, that I haven't really done since Dishonored 2, and just that gameplay loop of just like, okay, just, you know, setting up your equipment that you're going to take with you before every mission, and just being plopped into the middle of this giant like sandbox and having all of these sort of opportunities and paths and chances to create distractions and mess around with the NPCs and whatnot. All these tools at your disposal to kind of forge your own unique way of eliminating your target, and having that feel different from each and every single mission in that game. It's just a very definition of fun, man. And yeah, I just absolutely adore that game. And I don't think, like, yeah, I love Returnal, and Ratchet was great, and et cetera, in terms of like the other games I played this year. But I don't think any other game this year will bring the sheer amount of joy and put a smile on my face more than what Hitman 3 was able to do for me this year. So yeah, Hitman 3 is definitely my choice. Walt, what about you, man? What's your game of the year for 2021?
I'm gonna have to say Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, man. That game is phenomenal. That game is, no, I'm kidding.
Where's the fart noise when you need it, man? Fart on that one.
Man. Honestly, I don't know if it's recency effect. Might be the fact that I haven't played. I mean, I've played the big ones this year. Ratchet and Clank, Eternal, Resident Evil, all that. I haven't played It Takes Two, so I can't speak on that. I don't know. I trust Macho's word on it, and I know people have loved that game. But in my case, I would have to go Returnal. And that's for the fact that it has been a nonstop roller coaster. That's just, it's there's no like break. It's always going. It's always going. And it's something that I really appreciate in my games. That's why the other day I was talking with Macho, talking about Souls games, and how we appreciate faster paced Souls games than we do slower paced, which is why he has more problems, getting through Demon Souls, but not so much with Dark Souls 3, or he didn't with Bloodborne, and so didn't I, and Sekiro as well. So Returnal is like perfect mixture of fast paced, just in your face combat, and with exploration as well, because you have to be on your toes whenever you enter a new room. The story, even though I am pretty confused, I'm still finding it interesting. I love sci-fi. I love everything that has to do with the game so far. And Celine as a character, through the audio logs, through everything that they're introducing about her, each time she seems as a more interesting protagonist. Every time I play it. And the music.
Yeah, tell
dude,
Soul which part you
dude,
just finished.
I just finished the 4th boss fight, and
Yeah.
wow. Like, I was telling Macho the other day that each fight has had that one element of it that makes it stand out so much, like how the fight was creepy and unsettling, but so cool and ominous. Ixion was epic and like really badass fight in the sky. The Nemesis was so it was such a set piece. It was so big.
That one's incredible.
Dude, that one was phenomenal, and I was about to die. Oh, the music for each and every of these boss fights fits it so well, but for that one was so legendary. And then Hyperion, wow, just the concept, just the idea. You climbing this tower, the music keeps getting louder and louder, and Celine hears it. She's like, the music, I want it to stop. And you see this thing playing an organ, looking at you with its weird. There's like weird holes on its back, and you're like, "Are those eyes? Is it looking at me?" And you drop down, and oh my god, it gets amazing. It gets intense. It's fast paced. That was one of the fights where I didn't have a chance to like stop for like 2 seconds and like put my fingers back in their place because they were just slipping. Because I was just I can't take a moment to recoup because it's so intense. I loved it, man. The music. I want to replay it. I purposely died the other day. As soon as I finished Dark Souls with Macho, I played for a little bit, and I'm in the 5th biome, which is the hardest one so far for me to get through, and I got kicked back because I died to the 4th area. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go fight Hyperion again, because it's such a legendary fight. I love it. But yeah, right now, if I had to pick a game, it would be Returnal. That could change. I could play more Demon Souls and maybe change my mind. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, Returnal. Returnal. That's my half game of the year so far.
Nice. That's a good pick, man. It's a good pick. I'm so glad you guys actually got around to playing it, man.
Yeah.
Cause yeah,
Caught me by surprise.
yeah, it definitely
Same, yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
definitely deserves it. All right, man. So that pretty much does it for us. I want to thank you guys for coming through the podcast, whether you guys watched live or are coming through afterwards. We greatly appreciate that. Don't forget the golden rule, man. If you don't like or subscribe to the channel, we're taking your knees, man. So be sure.
And your
be sure.
mom's a hoe.
Exactly. That's right. It's the golden rule, man.
Amen, brother.
I thought that was Hulk Hogan showing up to the podcast for a minute. Whoa.
Amen.
What the hell going on, man? We're gonna get started with these outros. Macho, what's going on with you this week, man? You got anything going on?
More Dark Souls 3 and Final Fantasy 14 shenanigans. Gonna get into the long grind of the relic weapon quests, which are notorious for being grinds. But in the end, you get a really cool looking weapon. So that's on the Final 14 side. And then more Dark Souls 3. Really, like I said before, me and Walt, if Walt is not inebriated later, if he's not partaking in the pleasures of the flesh,
Yeah.
Man.
then we'll be playing Dark Souls 3. Doing more, get into the catacombs.
You wild.
I love you, my Boricua brother.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's it for me, man.
Cool. Walt, besides staying home and recovering from those lap dances that you were getting the other night.
Lots of water, man. Lots of water. Gotta rehydrate. Gotta get all those burgers to soak up the alcohols.
Man, you had enough to drink at the strip club, man. Just relax, take it easy.
Hey, man. Man, I only drank apple juice. No, I'm kidding. Listen.
That's what they were serving. That's what they were serving there.
Yeah, apple juice with a little hint of honey.
Oh man.
Oh man,
So,
he knows what's up.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest, I need to work on what I'm doing school wise on Fridays, because I don't want this to repeat itself. I feel awful. I want to apologize to the audience and to my co-host. And
You're good.
I like the sleep. I did not. When I woke up, I looked at the time and I was like, "Nah!" Like I let out a no. Oh man.
We just want to make sure you're okay, dude. I was so worried for a little bit.
Yeah, I was good. It's just I went to bed like 4 in the morning because I was doing like a lot of papers and stuff. Like I was trying to like get a lot of the next week's stuff through, so I didn't have much next week. But that kicked me in the face a little bit. Backfired. But aside from that, more Dark Souls 3. With the macho himself, if he down for co-op. I don't know how far we'll get next time we play. We got through, what was it? We got through the Abyss Watchers, the Crystal Sage, the Deacons of the Deep, the Old Demon King, and now we're gonna go to the big skeleton dude in the catacombs. Other than that, more Returnal. After this podcast, I might try and get through that 5th biome. And other than that, man, it's just more school and more Dark Souls. I appreciate that I get to play more Dark Souls 3 after so many years of not playing it, and co-op, which is just amazing. I love it's. We didn't expect to have as much fun as we were having, and as many labs that we were having. Yeah.
We even baited somebody into a trap. It was hilarious, man.
Yeah, man. The baiting, people invade us thinking they slick, but nah, man. That's a 2-pack of ass. But yeah, man. Not much more. Yeah, just more games, more school, and better time management with school. And I don't want to. I'm not gonna repeat this. This will be the first and last time I do this shit. and I appreciate Gene jumping in and covering and I want to be present when Gene is again, because he makes amazing points and has great insight. So I want to be present next time he's around again.
It was totally unintentional too. Like I asked him before, or I sent him a message before bed last night, not knowing that this was gonna happen. So it worked.
Hey man, your intuition.
Yeah, it totally worked out.
Intuition.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally
Yeah, I appreciate
out.
it, Gene. I appreciate both of you for that accidental cover up.
But yeah, man, we'll definitely think up of a punishment for you, man. For
Yes.
for doing this, man. We're gonna me and Mato were talking about this earlier. We're thinking probably along the lines of having you ride a unicycle on above a pool of like sharks while juggling some bowling pins.
Perfect. Make it piranhas. Just a lot of piranhas.
Yes, sir.
Make it like
yes,
100
sir.
piranhas.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
no, I got something even better for him. That's a little more not. It's a little more doable.
What?
So, well, your punishment is that you have to stream a game, and that game is going to be Senran and Kagura, and you gotta make sure that you do all the side content and everything. It's a good game. It's a good action game. But I guarantee
Yeah,
you,
no, I bet. I know the game is.
You being the action, you being the age you are, I want to see you streaming that game, bro.
You know what?
Man.
Even better, we're gonna have someone cosplay as Lady Dimitrescu. All right, we're gonna have Walt handcuffed to a chair, so he can't do anything. Lady Dimitrescu is gonna chase me around the room, and he's gonna have to watch and suffer because that's not him being chased around the room. That's his punishment right there, man.
Let it be a hot tub streamer. Let it be a hot tub streamer.
Very true.
Man,
Very true.
I'm imagining it low cap. I imagine.
And I wouldn't be using my track speed to get away from her. I would just be lightly jogging away, be like, oh no, oh no, oh this door is locked. Oh shoot.
Oh no!
But I'm the one who locked the door. As for me, man, not much going on. Probably chipping away at dreams. Hopefully getting through those tutorials. Probably finishing off. Yeah, man. You can listen back to the podcast and hear my thoughts on dreams for sure.
Yeah, sweet. I will.
Agree. Probably gonna finish that off as well. And then BlazBlue as well. Probably chip away at that.
Wow, I really need to listen to a podcast. What is this? What are these games?
Yeah, man.
I didn't expect you to be a Blast. Are you? Oh, I need to listen to it. I'll listen.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the podcast. Once again, I want to thank everyone who came through and had a listen. We always appreciate that. We're 2 subscribers away from 40, man. So help us out, man. We trying to get there. Definitely before the end of 2021, man. Let's get to 40 at the very least, man.
We still need to get our own customized URL. We need to do that.
Yes,
we need
sir.
100. So
Yes,
please.
sir. We don't want youtube.com/ab7qrst19.
User underscore.
Yeah, we don't want that anymore.
Question. Gene, did you have anything else to say or anything you wanted to say that you were up to?
Yeah,
following week?
plug. Yeah, you want to plug anything?
Yeah.
I'm just going to be wrapping up the end of Yakuza so I can get ready for Judgment when that comes out.
Oh, sweet.
Gotcha. And where can people find you and your work?
Mostly on Twitter. I need more followers, so I need all the followers I can get. 37Gene37. Give me a follow on Twitter. That's 37Gene37.
Nice. And yeah, man, you can also catch he does great work, man, on lordsofgaming.net. So definitely check out some of his articles there. But yeah, man, that's going to do it for the podcast. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.